Have you ever felt completely consumed by your thoughts? No matter how hard you try to focus or relax, those thoughts just keep on coming up. They won't quit. They're telling you to remember this, don't do that, forcing doubt into your mind, intrusively bringing up old memories that make you shudder, or even worse, just really mean thoughts that constantly put you down and make you feel shit. In this video, I want to show you a shortcut to switching off those thoughts in your mind, because you know that in order to manifest quickly, you need to think more positive. You need to tune into the feelings of your future self. But how can you do that when you're battling an inner dialogue and really negative thoughts that no matter how hard you try, just won't quit? There is a shortcut to silence those thoughts. There is a shortcut to starting to train the brain without having to sit for hours in meditation, and it lives within your own body. So why do we want to turn down our negative thoughts? First of all, I really want to preface that having negative thoughts every now and again is not going to affect your manifestation practice. Every person, no matter how successful, has an ego. And we are all going to get, from time to time, a thought that comes in that we try to shake off immediately. But consistent thoughts that are looping, those go on to create your self-concept, and your self-concept forms your consciousness, and your consciousness is building your entire reality, whether you know it or not. You are essentially just rendering something. So in order to create from the 5D, where illogical, fast manifestation happens, we need to shift our consciousness. That means that you need to shift your thoughts, but in order to shift your thoughts, you need to be able to have some control over your thoughts, or at least silence them long enough to be able to replace them with something else. If you don't do that, your thoughts will say, I'm so stupid. So your reality will give you situations that validate that belief. You'll attract in people that make you feel stupid. You'll attract in situations where that feeling of feeling stupid comes up, and it will reinforce the same thought, making it louder and louder. If your thoughts are consistently saying, I could never be wealthy, your reality will mirror back that. You will create a reality where no opportunities for more wealth comes in. You randomly get bills that seem to just take your money as soon as it comes in. Your thoughts may say, the desires that I have are years away. I could never manifest quickly. And so your reality will give you that exact situation. You won't manifest quickly. It will be years away, or it won't come at all, because you're constantly creating a degree of separation and space between where you are and where you want to go. That space says to the universe, I'm not there yet. I'm not my future self. So I want you to take a moment. Are you aware of what your most default thoughts are? And for those of you that have done a lot of manifestation work and maybe have mapped a lot of these thoughts, this is even more important for you, because you will have thoughts that you just aren't aware of right now. They may just be very quiet and very subconscious. It could be very sneaky things like the people around you saying it's so hard to grow on social media. That then becomes a belief. You say it as a fact when it's a subjective opinion based on every other person. Everything that you say is a belief, is a subjective opinion. It is not fact, which means that all of them can be challenged to create different opinions, to create a different reality. Now, what's really interesting about a lot of these thoughts is a lot of them will just be surface level thoughts, things that are just on the top but aren't necessarily in your nervous system. This typically happens when you're around a group of people that are constantly saying the same things over and over again. When you're just entrenched in a way of thinking, you take on the opinions of the people that you spend the most time around. It doesn't necessarily mean that they're tied to your nervous system, so you can actually change those relatively easily. But some of these thoughts will be coming from feelings first, because your nervous system actually responds much faster than your thinking neocortex mind does. Just think about when a door slams behind you. Your body jumps before you actually consciously realize it's just a door slamming. So for a lot of these thoughts, there is a trigger that comes online in the body, in the nervous system, which causes the thought to start, which then creates a loop between your thoughts and your feelings, which is really hard to break sometimes. The great thing is the method that I'm about to show you allows you to do two things. Number one, it allows you to silence the neocortex in as little as 5 minutes. And number two, it helps you actually to remove the fears in your nervous system that are causing the triggers to come online, which then cause the thoughts in your mind. Most manifestation teaches you that meditation is the key to unlocking the desires that you want. But for any of you that struggle to switch off your thoughts, like I used to, for someone that is neurodivergent with a very busy mind, you never get to experience the full benefits of meditation because you can never turn your thoughts off. This tool solves that, and this tool is breathwork. But this isn't just any breathwork. It's not the kind of breathing that you're doing just throughout the day. It's not the kind of breathwork that you do at Pilates or yoga. It is intentionally created breathwork that is designed to get your thinking mind offline. And there are very specific flows and patterns that we can use to do exactly that. The breath is essentially the medicine cabinet of the body. And there are immediate effects of doing breathwork that go far beyond just quieting the mind or helping you to pull in a reality that you desire. You'll sleep better, you'll digest better, you'll have more energy. It will regulate your nervous system and take you out of a constant state of stress or fight or flight into a relaxed state. It increases your heart rate variability, increases your emotional resilience, and so much more. But when it comes to switching off your thinking mind, this is where it's really cool. Something very interesting happens when we intentionally hyperventilate. When we, in a safe space, get our nervous systems to come upwards, our body actually starts switching off. This is because we are intentionally taking our bodies to the same state that we would be if we were running away from a saber-toothed tiger. What our body does is it tries to make us as efficient as possible by shutting off parts of the body that it doesn't need to allow us to run or to fight. In neuroscience, they call this last in, first out. And what this means is the last thing that developed, which was our neocortex, is the first thing to go offline. This is why when you're in a very heightened state, people recommend not actually making decisions because there isn't going to be as much blood flow to the brain, which means that you're literally not thinking clearly. So when you have stresses that happen during the day and you suddenly feel really cloudy, that's because your breathing has sped up and it is signaling to the body we're in a fight or flight response. And so it's actually started to turn off the brain. Now, during the day, that is not something that is helpful. But when you do this in an intentional way, which is through a breath flow, something really cool starts to happen. The thinking mind, over a period of between 5 and 15 minutes, will start to switch off. This then allows your brain to switch states from the busy beta state into alpha or even theta states, which is where you are much more relaxed and much more suggestible. This can happen in as little as 5 to 15 minutes of intentional breath work. So instead of battling to try to meditate for an hour to silence your thoughts, you could literally do 5 minutes of breath work and silence your mind in the same way. When you start to do this consistently, daily breath work actually starts to increase something called your window of tolerance. Your window of tolerance is basically your nervous system's safe zone. It's what you are able to do without your nervous system going into fight or flight. So the things that you do throughout the day, like going to the supermarket, going to your job, these are things that feel comfortable and may not actually put your body into a state of fight or flight. They may feel easy for you to do and very safe. However, when you do something new, or when you want to attend an event that you've not been to before, when you want to try an activity that you've never done, when you want to put yourself forward for a promotion, that will start to go outside of your window of tolerance into the unsafe zone. So it can create this fight or flight response where you start to feel stressed. Cortisol starts to be produced. Now, a lot of people, when they feel that discomfort, they think that something's wrong and it causes them to stop. Society has trained us to believe that discomfort is bad. And when we believe that it's bad, we stop moving forward, but discomfort is actually our growth edge. It is where we expand. As humans, we have come here to experience life. We have come here to build wisdom and to grow our souls. The only way that we can grow our souls is by going through some kind of pain or discomfort to expand our window of tolerance and our vessel so that we can become more of who we were always meant to be when we arrived here on Earth. With breathwork, in just 5 to 15 minutes of daily use, your window of tolerance will naturally start to increase without you needing to think about anything. You don't even need to know what some of your blocks are, your manifestation blocks. Your body just starts to increase that resilience. It means that everyday stressors like your kids, your partner, your job start to feel much more manageable. You start to be able to do so many more things and take so much more action because your nervous system isn't seeing so many things as a threat. When you then intentionally do deeper and longer flows, this is where you can hand over to the body in the mammalian brain, which is where a lot of our emotions and our memories are stored, and you can actually complete old fight or flight patterns which are creating sabotaging blocks or manifestation blocks that are causing havoc in your life today. So if you have a belief that says it's not safe for me to make more money, in a long breath flow, you can take the body into a more elevated state through intentional hyperventilation, bring the neocortex offline, hand over to the mammalian brain, where your body then breathes you. That's what they call it in breath work. And your body completes these fight or flight responses without you consciously having to do anything anything else. When you then add meditation, hypnotherapy, reprogramming onto the back end of these longer flows where you're in a theta state, you are incredibly suggestible. This is where it is the most powerful to reprogram your subconscious mind. And all of this with one tool that you are using every single day. You have an entire magic box inside of your body that you are not using right now. So let's recap. In just 5 to 15 minutes of breath work, you can, number one, start to turn off the neocortex and quiet that very busy monkey mind. Number two, shift your brainwave state from a high beta thinking mind to an alpha or even a theta state where you are very suggestible to reprogramming. And number three, start to increase your window of tolerance by balancing the gases in the body. The process behind this is actually by increasing your CO2 tolerance. The majority of people at the moment on this planet have an incredibly low CO2 tolerance. This can increase anxiety, stress, neurodivergent symptoms. But when you start to build that window of tolerance by doing intentional breath hold, by actually limiting the amount of oxygen that you are breathing and slowing down your breath, that window of tolerance starts to increase. In just 7 days, you will start to feel physical effects to your body. You will feel more resilient. You will feel more steady in yourself. When you pair breathwork with visualization of imagining your future state, your manifestation, your reality can start to shift and be attracted to you really quickly. But the great thing is, this method means you don't have to battle against that monkey mind. You just get to experience and feel and let the body do what it's meant to do. So give it a go. Be prepared that breathwork can be a little bit uncomfortable, especially in those first 7 days, but the more that you do it, the easier it becomes. This is something that has become an absolute non-negotiable in my day, and it is the basis of the entire In-Awe app. If you want to experience breath flows that quiet the monkey mind and have either hypnotherapy or visualization on the back end when you are in the most suggestible state, that's exactly what I provide in the In-Awe Manifestation membership. It is an app that lives directly on your phone. You can have it in your pocket for easy use, where there are breath flows between 5 and 40 minutes long and long, deep reprogrammings to remove subconscious blocks and manifestation blocks from the body so you can access more of your full potential. This expands and builds on the thinking of incredible thinkers like Neville Goddard and Dr. Joe Dispenza. It just adds in one more tool that allows you to get into the state even faster for an even better result.